and welcome to ABC 10 Morning News. I'm Monica Coleman.
And I'm Jordan Tolbert. Thanks for joining us on your Monday.
Let's start the morning with a look across downtown Sacramento. You can see it's dark out there, and in some areas, we will see fog this morning. Rob, so break it down. Will the fog really, stop you from getting where you need to go, or you just need to be aware?
I just think you just need to be aware, and it was starting to set up. If we didn't have a storm on the way within hours, it really would be one of those classic foggy mornings where it's tough to see. Everyone's going slower. It's just one of those situations. But because this storm is moving in, within hours, the wind kicks up, so that doesn't really allow the fog to set up widespread and very dense. And then once it starts raining, forget about the fog. Then you're just dealing with wet roads during the commute. And also for the Sierra, we're starting to see snow get to about 80 at the moment. Now, after this system, we are all clear for the rest of the week, which is important. The days ahead of holiday travel are really important to get things done. You really don't want to be battling stuff like this for days on end. We did it for part of the weekend. Yesterday was cold and foggy, but not raining. But we will have to deal with rain this morning. But by this afternoon, all of this should be moving along. You can see the snow starting to make inroads down to about 80, and that's going to keep moving down the Sierra, 80, then 50, then 88, and beyond. But it's going to take all day for that to happen. We've got temperatures in the 40s, so it is cold. We're only going to get to the low 50s, so it's not really going to warm up all that much at all. And then here we go. So this is where we are at the moment. If you are a super commuter, if you've got to go all the way to the Bay Area on that long drive that no one's really a fan of, heads up. By the time you're getting close to there, we are watching rain in the Bay Area. For everybody between, I would say, 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., we are dealing with rain, Sierra snow all at the same time, but then late this afternoon, we just have a little bit of snow left over, and that should be about it. Over the next 7 days, it is very much front-loaded and back-loaded. What I mean by that is we've got rain and snow today, then we are clear Tuesday through Friday. Late Saturday to Sunday is our next system. It's not a strong one at this point, but it is worth mentioning because there's so much travel going on the weekend ahead of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So for more on the weather, let's go ahead and talk to Candace. And Candace, we were thinking this morning that, the rain might hold off until right after the show. But the reality is that you saw some fog this morning, and all the tips you're about to share are really important during the storm because storms always affect how people travel and what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, you got that right. Good morning again to you, Rob. We're coming to you live on Alberta Road. This is right near Highway 99 North, to be exact. We're not too far away from the Sacramento International Airport, and this morning we're focusing on weather. Now, earlier in the day, we did see some dense fog. Not too foggy right now. I would mention that there was a little sprinkle or two, but that's no longer the case at this time, as we're seeing vehicles coming and going with ease, no problems here. But again, with that dense fog, you do want to continue to just play it safe on the road. We know that the National Weather Service is reminding people to stay safe because of the possibility of low visibility. That can always be a concern when it comes to winter weather conditions. Now, again, we're talking about portions of Sacramento, San Joaquin Valley, and the Delta. Now, if you do end up driving in foggy weather, it's important to remember to actually use your low beams. Again, use those low beam headlights. You also want to slow down and give yourself time to get to wherever you're going safely. Again, we also know that heavy rain is expected in our region later on this morning. So taking a look at your screen as we give you some tips. This is coming straight from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Now, before heading out, you want to be sure to check the road conditions, traffic, and any possible closures. And when driving on wet roads, increase your following distance. That way, you'll have plenty of time to stop for cars ahead of you. And of course, you want to be sure to watch out for any pedestrians, especially when it's hard to see because of bad weather. And I had this problem over the weekend. You want to watch out for any possible debris on the road, like any fallen tree limbs. And then, of course, no distracted driving, like texting, talking on the phone, or yes, even eating. Coming back out to you live. One last tip is to make sure that you have an emergency car kit, because you never know what could happen when you're out on the road. It should include those the basics, right? Like a cell phone charger, as well as batteries, jumper cables, everything that you possibly can have that you think you might need. And definitely a blanket, because it is very, very chilly out. In Sacramento County.
All right, thank you, Candace. Let's go ahead and get into our traffic conditions this morning. And like Candace was saying, this weekend I also saw some tree limbs kind of littering the ground where you're driving. Also lots of leaves as well. And those, when they are wet, are extra slick out there. So just want to be careful on your local roads, our local highways. This is I-5 at Richards Boulevard. Some spots you might see some fog this morning. Other than that, though, not really seeing a whole lot of delays other than this. So Tracy to Livermore, definitely seeing some slowing, 205 to 580. Pretty typical for this time of morning. We do have a crash, though, westbound 580 in Coral Hollow Road. So if you're driving from Modesto, super commuting along 132 westbound and then getting onto 580 west, definitely expect some delays this morning along that route. Here's your drive times this morning. So Manteca to Oakland, expect about an hour and a half. That's on 120 going westbound. And then Stockton to Oakland, an hour on Highway 4. Tracy to Livermore, just under 55 minutes on 580 west.
Busy out there, Jordan. Thank you. Developing this morning, we are learning more about a deadly crash that killed 4 people yesterday near Turlock.
And 2 people who survived the initial crash are now in the hospital with major injuries. It happened just before 9:30 yesterday morning when, according to CHP, a Modesto man was speeding on Highway 165 when he T-boned a Jeep entering the intersection from Greenway Avenue. 4 people died as a result of the crash. Investigators looking into whether drugs or alcohol were a factor.
And this morning, we know one of the people killed in the crash was a local teacher. The Ceres Unified School District tells us that education specialist teacher Jennifer Lorenko was a passenger in the Jeep. She died at the scene. In a statement to ABC 10, the school district tells us she was a gifted and dedicated educator and a beloved colleague whose loss will be deeply felt throughout the school community. The district says there will be counseling resources available for all students and staff who may need support.
And crews are continuing to repair a pair of entrances to the J.C. Penney's at Sunrise Mall, which were destroyed yesterday after someone crashed through the store. Citrus Heights police say it was part of a robbery. And the suspect, reportedly driving a stolen truck, crashed into the jewelry section of the store. Once inside, they grabbed handfuls of jewelry before eventually running away. And we went to the store to hear reaction from shoppers there.
I thought, wow, what is going on with J.C. Penney's?
I think it's evil to steal things.
The mall seems to be having a lot of problems, stores closing. They don't need this kind of publicity. So that's where the sad part comes in.
Wow, and thankfully no one was injured in that crash. Employees were the only people inside of the store when that happened. And police have found the stolen truck, but have yet to find a suspect.
A community in Santa Cruz County is cleaning up this morning after experiencing a rare tornado over the weekend. Here's a look at that tornado forming over Scotts Valley. This happened on Saturday around 1:30 in the afternoon. It was categorized by the National Weather Service as a weak EF1 tornado with winds reaching 90 miles an hour. This is a look at the debris left behind by the tornado. Downed trees and power lines, as well as some cars flipped on their sides. Eyewitnesses say the destruction happened in a matter of seconds.
Suddenly, everything started turning. The wind went the opposite direction, and that's when we were like, "This is tornado or something like that." And we all just hunkered back for a second, and 30 seconds later, it was over.
Scotts Valley police say roads in the area have since reopened and power has returned to businesses affected by the tornado.